It is another Thank God Friday to the start of the weekend, everyone. I am Melissa Enoch here at the FMDQ studios in Lagos.
And I'm Grace Agbaragu. It's the 3rd of July. We thank you for joining us at this time on the show.
All right, let's tee off with news now. Kenya's private sector returned to growth in June, ending 3 consecutive months of contraction as the Stanbic Bank Kenya Purchasing Managers Index rose to 50 from 46.6 in May. The improvement came as annual inflation eased to 6.4% in June from 6.7% the previous month, providing a more supportive environment for business activity. Kenya's finance ministry forecasts the economy will grow 5% in 2026 and 5.2% in 2027, up from 4.6% recorded last year. At the AfCFTA Digital Trade Forum 2026, Wankalamene condemned xenophobic violence in South Africa, warning that such actions undermine Africa's integration and the spirit of the African Continental Free Trade Area. He reiterated the need for unity, free movement, and inclusive economic growth across the continent. Let's listen to him.
That would happen within the context of the African Union and the leadership of South Africa. And I do not know whether that discussion has happened or not. But I'm very, very hopeful that the matter will be dealt with, at least from the perspective of law enforcement, that citizens in South Africa, whether they are foreign nationals, documented or undocumented, and South African citizens, that they will be protected from these attacks, and that the law will be upheld, because the problems of South Africa are not caused by Nigerians. The problems of South Africa are not caused by Congolese. They are not caused by Zimbabweans. The problems of South Africa are domestic. Even if all foreign nationals in South Africa were to leave, the problems would remain. So it is a fallacy to suggest that the problems of South Africa are caused by foreign nationals. They are not. On the contrary, Africans in South Africa make a very positive contribution, primarily to the economy, to the cultural diversity and the cultural richness of the country. All of these are very positive attributes which we should be proud of as a continent.
In central banking news, Tanzania's central bank has raised its key interest rate by 50 basis points to 6.25% after inflation accelerated to a 3-year high. Annual inflation rose to 4.2% in May from 4% in April, driven by higher fuel, fertilizer, and other input costs linked to the Iran war, though it remains within the bank's 3% to 5% target range. The Bank of Tanzania said the rate hike will help keep inflation under control while supporting economic growth, with GDP projected to expand by about 6% in the first half of 2026. In the meantime, President Cyril Ramaphosa has addressed a multi-stakeholder session during an AU solidarity visit to the Democratic Republic of Congo, calling for stronger regional cooperation and peace to support development. Here are some excerpts.
Now, despite the challenge before us, we draw hope from the dedication and commitment of all partners who are also gathered here today. And I listen very carefully to some of the commitments that have been made, not only by various partner countries, but by organizations as well. And we are grateful, and we thank you for that. Having witnessed patients' recovery from this disease, we are encouraged, as Dr. Kaseya was saying, that the continued development of medicines and vaccines will yield even more promising results and improve recovery outcomes. I do share Dr. Kaseya's hope that we should be able, as we work very hard, to even have a vaccine for this variant of Ebola by the end of this year. We are hopeful that the virus will remain contained and will not threaten other regions of our continent or indeed the world. And this is where we call upon other countries not to lock out the DRC, do not impose travel bans on people traveling from the DRC, locking out travelers who you may suspect may be infected with a disease is not the way to treat the travel opportunities of people in the world. We are hopeful too that there will be minimal disruption to lives and livelihoods, and that economic growth and social solidarity will continue beyond this public health shock.
In other news, Dangote Petroleum Refinery has raised $750 million through its debut Eurobond issuance, marking a key step in its funding and capital market strategy ahead of a planned public listing. The 5-year dollar-denominated bond due in July 2031 was priced at par with a 7.5% yield through a Rule 144A private placement targeted at qualified institutional investors. The transaction is expected to support the refinery's balance sheet, strengthening expansion plans. In Mali, the nation has established the Malian Office of Precious Substances, a new state agency created to regulate and centralize the country's growing artisanal gold trade. The new entity will oversee gold trade flows and strengthen government control of the sector. The move follows the discovery of significant discrepancies between Mali's official gold export figures and the volumes reported by importing countries. Meanwhile, the AFCFTA Digital Trade Forum 2026, the roadmap to KNEX and IATF 2027 was presented as part of efforts to deepen Africa's digital trade and creative economy agenda. The plan under the African Continental Free Trade Area seeks to expand market access, boost cross-border trade, and position African businesses and creatives for greater participation in continental and global value chains. Let's listen.
Those who may not know, the Creative Africa Annex, that's what it's called, and it's CANEX. They could check on canex.africa. There are various line items within the different hubs, whether it's fashion, literature, culinary arts, visual arts. There's a whole list of hubs, and they're all coming together to bring value to Africa, the continent, to ensure that we add value to the GDP, we get investments for the right kind of people, we showcase the right kind of people that are doing the work, and those obviously that can open up opportunities for our younger generation. So please go ahead and check canex.africa, apply to attend, it's free, but you need to apply ahead of time. There are masterclasses, there are panels, there are investment forums, there's a deal room, there's a deal room for trade. For us at the Center for Black and African Arts and Civilization, we 100% know that culture connects the trade. The more we get to know about ourselves, it makes life easier for us to interact with each other and invest into each other.
So Lagos State are proud hosts and partners. The governor and his entire team have been instrumental in our winning the bid, the due diligence and all that. We had the signing ceremony in March earlier this year. CANEX and IATF are for the whole of Nigeria. We've been engaging the Nigerian Governors Forum and the National Economic Council because we have so much to highlight from across the country in terms of culture, the festivals we have, in terms of fashion, in terms of food. And there's a food competition for young chefs only for Nigerians. There's a short film competition. We need Nigerians to self-submit. And so we just need to check on the website. And really, we want Nigerian participation. It's nationwide. We have to be strong. We have to win.
We have to win.
We have to win. Don't jollof rice wars. We have to win. Like, we're not kidding around. Like, the hosting is going to be fun. It's going to be beautiful, but it's really an economic agenda. Using culture, using soft culture soft influence to connect. There's a big diaspora element. Nigerians and Africans and Black people in diaspora in the Caribbean coming home. We have Grace Ladoja on the Advisory Council. This is just the flavor. A lot of Africans. Stevie Wonder received his Grammy in this building.
Finally, on News Now for today, Eritrea has ordered all citizens and organizations to deposit all Eritrean NACFA banknotes into commercial banks before the end of July, warning that failure to comply could result in legal action. The central bank said the NACFA remains the country's only legal tender, requiring all cash holdings to be moved into the formal banking system. Individuals without bank accounts have been directed to open one immediately. The measure is aimed at strengthening oversight of the financial system and has drawn comparisons to Eritrea's previous currency reform, which targeted illegal money transfers and black market activity. I am Melissa Enoch, and that's it on News Now for today. The show returns shortly after the break with Grace giving us our market reports. Stick around. Welcome back to Money Moves. Thanks for staying with us. Let's now go over to Grace for today's market update. Hello there, Grace. How are the markets wrapping up this last day of the week?
Thank you, Melissa. Let's now take a look at how the markets traded today, starting off with the equities as usual. The NGX All-Share Index gained 0.35%, while the BRVM slipped 0.16% to 459.82. The Nairobi Securities Exchange rose 0.53% to 227.17. In Southern Africa, the JSE advanced 0.94%, while Mauritius Semdex edged down 0.04%. And in North Africa, Morocco's MASI gained 0.89% as at 1409 GMT. So the currencies, the rand weakened 0.06% to 16.23, while the Egyptian pound weakened 0.07% to 49.12. The CFA franc strengthened 0.32% to 572.65. The Kenyan shilling strengthened 0.02% to 129.25, and the Moroccan dirham weakened 0.04% to 9.36. Meanwhile, the naira strengthened 0.06% to 1,368 naira 65 kobo as at 13:55 GMT. Let's now switch into the commodities data deck, beginning with energy prices. Brent crude edged up 0.24% to $71.97, while US WTI was broadly flat, down 0.01% to $68.68. Natural gas rose 1.89%, while Arabian gasoline gains 1.18% to $2.95 as at 13:50 GMT. To metals, gold climbed 1.29%, while copper gained 0.71% to $6.21. Platinum advanced 1.79%, while aluminium slipped 0.66%, and iron ore edged down 0.11% to $98.28 as at 13:51 GMT. Now, finally, to soft commodities. Cocoa fell 1.10% to $5,036. Coffee declined 2.81%, and cotton dropped 0.92% to $77.12. Palm oil edged up 0.09%, and sugar slipped 0.93% to $14.85 as at 13:53 GMT. And that's our Money Moves markets today. Back to you, Melissa.
Thank you very much, Grace, for those market updates. And that's it on today's edition of Money Moves. From all of us here at the FMDQ studios, we say thank you very much for watching and have a splendid weekend.